In this video, I'll show you how you can create text-to-speech functionality using HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. So right now on my screen, if I should type something, let's say hello world, and then click on the speak button, this is what you hear.
Hello world.
Alright, so in this video, I'm just going to be showing you guys how you can implement this functionality with just HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. In my HTML, I have this particular division with the class container, and inside that division I have a heading element, and then I have a text area and a button. So we have text area, heading, and a button, and I linked my CSS and JavaScript to this HTML page. The next thing that I did is to go to my CSS and then apply this basic style sheet to the text area and then the element that I've added in the HTML. And don't worry, I'll leave the link to the source code of this particular project. So the next thing that we are going to do is to come to the JavaScript. That is where we are going to apply the magic tool. Now what we are going to do is to first get our button. So what we are going to do is to document.get element per id, and we are going to use the id of the button. So the id of the button is speak btn, so something like this. So after getting the id of the button, we are just going to add an event listener, and the event listener that we'll be adding is a click event. So event listener, and then we should add a click event. So we should be having something like this. And the next thing that we are going to do is bring comma, and then we are going to create a function. So let's just say function this way, and then open and close bracket, and then let's open our curly bracelets. So inside this particular curly bracelets, we are going to create our constant. So the first constant that we are going to be creating is the text. So let's say text to be equal to document dot get element by id, and the id of the text is text. So let's say text dot the value, and then we trim the value of that particular text. So let's say dot trim. We want to remove spaces from the text, so something like this. So now what we are going to do next is to create a conditional statement. So if the user didn't input any text, it should alert the user to enter some text. So if, and then if text is equal to empty, so if text is equal to empty, then it should alert the user to input some text. So let's say alert in bracelets, please input some text this way. Okay, so now what we are going to do next is to create another constant, which is the speak constant. So what we are going to do is to create a constant with the name speech to be equal to new speech synthesis. So let's say speech synthesis, and then let's have it this way. Okay, what we are going to do next is to get our text to speech. So let's say speech dot text, and then we equate it to our text. So the speech dot text should be equal to the text constant that we've created, so text like this. And then we are going to have speech dot language, so the language that we want to hear. So the language should be English United States. So something like this, EN-US. So the next thing that we are going to do is to give it a volume. So let's say speech dot volume to be equal to, let's say, 1. So we are just setting it to 1, and then the pitch should also be 1. Speech dot pitch to be 1. So if we should set this one to 1, and then the next thing that we are going to add is to add the rate. So speech dot rate to also be equals to 1. Okay, so now what we are going to do is to apply the speaking functionality. So what we should do is to add window dot speech synthesis dot speak this way, and then inside this particular parenthesis we should add the speech function here. So now if we should run this code, if we should run it, and then so let's add some text. So let's say, how are you this way, and then
How are you?
all right. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow me for more tips like this.